Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1500A, and today's date is February 16th, 2018, and the title of the episode is, The Agenda is Set, the Dollar Will Begin to Lose Its World Dominance. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we're entering a phase of the economy where the economy cannot be sustained the way it is. And what we're seeing right now is a complete and utter breakdown. And what the central banks normally do at this point is they try to get everyone in. They have built the illusion to the point where everyone believes the economy is doing well. They make everyone think that this can never end. And they make everyone feel comfortable about what is happening. And this is exactly where we are. Because what we're seeing right now is that Americans, they're very confident of retiring comfortably, even though the markets went down a little bit. They're confident that the economy will end up doing a lot better. And the last time this happened, the stock market crashed. And what is happening right now, all of this has been set up since the beginning. And we're at that period of time where we're going to go in two different directions. One, the central bank path, or the path of the people. Now, the central bank path is under their new system. The path of the people is a system without the central bank. Now, it looks like what is happening right now, and we know that everything is moving from the west to the east. And it looks like at this point, everything has been set up. The agenda is set, and the dollar is under threat right now. And it looks like the dollar is going to be losing its reserve status. And China is getting prepared right now. And we talked about what China is doing with their petro yuan. They are getting prepared to list their local currency, crude futures, in Shanghai on March 26. And this is according to the nation's security regulators. Now, some of the details of the contract, such as size, 1,000 barrels per lot, and grades, have been released. Other information like the delivery depot for the crude are yet to be announced. Now, China has surpassed the U.S. as the world's biggest oil importer last year, buying about 8.43 million barrels a day to basically feed the demand of the people of China. Now, if the futures are embraced by overseas investors and become a benchmark for global oil transactions, China's hoping the yuan could challenge the dominance of the petrodollar. And what they're doing is they're doing all of this in baby steps. And we're at the point right now where they're going to challenge the US dollar, the petrodollar. Now, Pepe Escobar recently noted, to overcome the excessive domination of the limited number of reserve currencies is the politest way of stating what the BRICS have been discussing for years now. How to bypass the US dollar as well as the petrodollar. This means that Russia as well as Iran, the other key node of Eurasia integration, may bypass US sanctions by trading energy in their own currencies or in yuan. Inbuilt in the move is a true Chinese win-win. The yuan, according to some, will be fully convertible into gold on both the Shanghai and Hong Kong exchanges. The new triad of oil, yuan, and gold is actually a win-win-win. No problem at all if energy providers prefer to be paid in physical gold instead of yuan. The key message is the US dollar being bypassed. And what's very interesting about all of this is that they're pushing this agenda right now. Now, we need to remember the central bankers, they need a country that has incredible manufacturing, will have the reserve currency of the world, has a lot of gold, because what central bankers need to do is they need to rebuild confidence in the system. It's almost like going back to the Great Depression and everyone lost confidence in the banking system. What did they do to get everyone back into the banking system? Everyone back in to the system, what they did was they created the FDIC, saying, listen, if the banks go down, no problem, you're insured by the government. We will pay out what you have lost. Their new system that they're creating, not saying that this is going to work, because we have two different paths that we could be going on, their system and our system and the people's system. They're going to build confidence with gold, because the countries around the world are going to look at this and say, well, what can we get from you if something happens? Oh, we can give you gold. This is why China has been accumulating gold. And I know people say, well, gold, it's not worth anything. You don't need it anymore. You still need it. Countries don't purchase gold just to purchase it. They purchase it because it's a confidence builder. And when you're moving to a new system, the world needs confidence. Right now, the crypto system, yes, that might be used on a local level for each country to trade and purchase and things like that. But on a higher level, countries want to know that if something happens, what is there? What can I get my hands on which will retain value? That is gold. And we can see right now, this is what the central bankers are trying to do. Now, is this the end of the petrodollar in the Mideast? Actually, yes. But really, the yuan has nothing to do with it. If the U.S. no longer runs trade deficits with the Mideast, they no longer need to accumulate U.S. dollar reserves. China is now the biggest importer of crude in the world. If China starts running perpetual trade deficits with OPEC countries, it makes sense for OPEC to hold yuan reserves as long as the OPEC countries trust the yuan. Remember, trust the yuan. How do you build trust? You put something behind it. I'm not saying they're going to say, oh, the yuan is backed by gold, but you have gold there. They're going to show the gold. It's going to build confidence. Russia might even step in and say, listen, we have gold also. So if something happens, the BRIC nations, we are okay. We can show you that we can support all of this. This is what they're trying to do, and they're making the move right now. Now, this is going to happen in March. I'm not saying as soon as this date hits, everything's going to change, but they're slowly ramping it up. And we can see right now, as this builds in popularity, and as countries start to trust, they're going to move away from the dollar. Yes, other countries are looking at cryptocurrencies, but I believe there's going to be different levels of currency. I believe there's going to be a local level currency, and I believe there's going to be a very high level currency where countries will use it to trade back and forth. It might even be based on the blockchain. But we can see right now it all depends on who actually controls this. Is it the central bank or the people? If we go down the path of the cryptocurrency and it's completely controlled by the people, and the governments create this currency, and this is the currency that we use in the country, and there's no central banks, there's no interest attached to it, and we get rid of the central banks, things will be a lot better off. But we can see the central bankers, they don't play clean, they play dirty. They don't want to lose control. And all of this is being pushed forward right now. And they're making their move. Remember, reserve currencies do not last forever. I mean, if we go back in time from like the year 1450 or so, Portugal all the way up to the 1500s had the reserve currency. Spain, back in like 1525 to 15 or 1600, they had the reserve currency. Then the Netherlands, then France, then Britain, and now the U.S. So when we look at this, we can see that going back in time, yes, there was a period of time where countries had the reserve currency. The central banking system only lasts for a certain period of time, and that is it. So what we're seeing right now is the entire system, the global economy, not just the U.S., it's all breaking down. We talk about how the housing market is imploding in Canada, how it's imploding around the United States, except for the 20 cities where they keep pumping up the prices. Yes, they can pump up the bubbles, but eventually what happens is these bubbles all around the country all start to pop. It's not, yes, it's under one gigantic umbrella, but there's many different little bubbles. And when they start to pop, it brings down the whole thing. So we have little bubbles popping just like we saw in 2008. Whoa, something was happening in California. But guess what? Miami was fine. Something was happening out in the eastern part of the country. We're in New York. But Miami was okay. And then eventually what happened? All the bubbles started to pop. And then we just have one gigantic bubble that popped. The same thing is going to happen now. We realize and we understand that this system was not designed to last forever. The central banking system is designed to take as much wealth as possible from the people, from the countries, and then restart it once again and do the same thing over and over and over until they amass a huge amount of wealth and they take control. That's the name of the game, control. And that's what they like to do. So we're at this point, we're at this fork in the road here, and we can either go to the left or to the right, and it all depends on how this all plays out. No matter what, we're going to be going through a transition. There's no way that the U.S. is going to be a reserve currency anymore. It's going to be transferred to someplace else, one way or another. Even if we go to a crypto market, guess what? The dollar's still not going to be worth anything. We're going to go through some type of period where it might be hard to get supplies, where food might be difficult. We're going to see inflation. We're still going to see this. If the central bankers get their way, the system's going to come down very, very hard. So we can see already come March, we see the petro yuan futures going live, and we can see that we're heading down this path, and it's accelerating right now because they realize they don't have that much time. So no matter what you're doing, continually prepare for what is coming, because you don't want to wake up that one day where you say, oh my God, the market just came down 5,000 points. Why is everyone running to the supermarket? Why are there lines at the gas stations? What is going on here? You don't want to be caught in that situation, because if you're caught in that situation, it's too late. There's nothing you can do at that point. And people realize this when storms come. A hurricane's coming, they just sit there, they wait until 2-3 days before the storm hits, and they realize it's going to be pretty darn bad. They try to go to the gas station, and the lines, well, it's like 500 cards back. They go to the supermarket, there's no water. There's no milk, there's no food, there's no ice, there's nothing. They go to another supermarket, the same thing happens. They start to panic. And this is where things go south. So whatever you're doing, get prepared for what is coming, and that is the collapse of the system. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.